What's up, family? All right, you guys, I know you guys noticed the different aesthetics here. We out here in the universe, 9 planets. This is our solar system. Now, you guys are usually get DSTM from me. DSTM, don't shoot the messenger. Grrr. That has to do with trending topics. Now, you guys know with trending topics, you know, we talking about events like, for example, Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. Very entertaining. But some people might consider that low vibrational. It doesn't help with self-development. You know that, yada, yada, yada. Well, this is supposed to combat that and balance that. This is a raise the frequency, all right? So we got to balance the Libra scale. And no, I'm not a Libra. I'm Sagittarius. Let's be clear. With that being said, 9 planets. There's a significance to the 9 planets. All right, you guys, 9 planets. We're going to learn something here. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. This is the time you guys take the opportunity to hit the like button. This show is called Build and Destroy. All right? We hide the medicine inside the candy. Don't shoot the messenger, that's the candy. Build and destroy, this is the medicine. You guys need to lock in, tap the like button on the count of 3. We're all going to hit the like button, come together as a collective, and we're going to subscribe to the channel. All right? We're going to count on 3. 1, 2, 3. Tap that like button. You guys, if you tap the like button, YouTube's going to take this content, push it forward, and recommend it to the audience. And that's what we need here, all right? Tap the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a safe place. If you're a new viewer, this is a safe place. Subscribe to the channel. If you're a recurring viewer, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's not too late. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Now, you guys, we're going to speak about the life expectancy of a human being. Why our lives are being shortened. It's like somebody's manipulating us. Why are we living less and less and less? Now, I'm going to look at a timeline of things. We're going to base this off of 5,000-year statistics. Yeah, we have to go back to the biblical days, the Bible. All right? Currently, if you Google and you ask, how long do men live in 2025, Google gave me 77.6 years. Wow. Listen, we used to live upwards to 1,000 years. Let's be clear. All right. Now, let's talk about some people from the Bible that we're familiar with. You guys, listen, I know a lot of people have their discrepancies about the Bible, how it's been revised. They're taking books, they manipulate the Bible. Still, at the end of the day, the Bible is the most accurate history book that we have of a timeline of things of our experience on planet Earth and the different civilizations that submerged, that's emerged and got submerged, right? With that being said, let's go back to Noah's days. You guys, Noah lived to be 950 years old. Noah, remember Noah's Ark? Noah began to live, Noah lived 950 years old. All right? Post the Great Flood, and I'll put emphasis on the Great Flood. Post the flood, he lived 350 years after the flood. Now, it wasn't just Noah who lived long. Adam lived to be 130 years old. 930, pardon me. 930 years old. Also, there's a gentleman, I call this guy the OGs of all men that have lived on this planet. This is Enoch's son. He goes by the name of Methuselah. If you guys get a chance, go inside your Googles, your encyclopedias, whatever, and you guys see there's a guy named Methuselah. He lived to be 969 years old. Wow, that's amazing, right? Now, you guys know we're living 77 years now. My question is, what happened and how do we get back to that? And I don't want to go no time soon, right? And by the grace of God, I'm aging slowly, and I'm a personal trader, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, we're not living to upwards to 1,000 no more. Now, there's something I want to show you guys. A lot of people speak about chemtrails and what we come to contact with, what we're eating out here. This is what's shortening our lifespan. But I'm going to show you something that kind of debunks that theory. Yes, it is helping. It is part of the population control. Yes, it does limit, it does shorten certain individuals' lifespans in isolated incidents. But I'm talking about man as a whole. Chemtrails don't apply to man as a whole, right? Allow me to unpack this. You guys see what I'm talking about. All right, post the flood. mankind life expectancy started shortening, started dwindling, deteriorating, declining. With that being said, let's talk about some biblical figures post the flood. Like I said, Noah post the flood, he lived 350 years. Abraham, well, before even Abraham, Shem lived 600 years post the flood. Abraham lived 180 years, 175 years post the flood. Abraham, all right, lived post 175 years. Also, Isaac lived 180 years. Jacob lived 120 years. I have the list here. Joseph lived 110 years. I don't know if you guys see a trending pattern here. It started declining. It's descending, right? It's in a downward. The graph is going downwards. So this debunks all the chemtrails, because wasn't no chemtrails back in Abraham days. There wasn't no chemtrails. There wasn't no pharmaceutical companies back in Jacob's day. All right? Environment, radiation. I'm not even sure if there was no radiation. Well, I'm not going to assume that, because they say that the pyramids were actually nuclear plants. We'll get into that. There's so much stuff we're going to speak about, all right? We got to raise the frequency here. We got to be open to thought. You guys, don't be comfortable with your ideologies. We're here to smash ideologies and challenge your philosophies, all right, and what you subscribe to here. So you guys make sure that you guys think outside of the box. Don't be comfortable with what you know, all right? What I'm showing you guys is we just debunked the whole chemtrail and pharmaceuticals and what they're putting inside the food. Our lives have been shortened. The question is, what happened? Now, you guys, first of all, we're going to see a diagram. I'm going to show you a diagram of DNA. Chromosomes, all right? So y'all got to put the thinking cap on. But like I said, it don't take a genius. It's some common sense, even though common sense is no longer common, all right? But nonetheless, I'm going to show you a diagram of the chromosome, a cell, et cetera, et cetera. But before we go into that, matter of fact, let's go into this. Before we go into the pyramids, I want to speak about the pyramids. It's something very significant. We're going to talk about Annunakis, Nephilim, giants. Yeah, we're going to get into that. All right. All right. Once again, make sure you guys take the time to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're a new viewer, this is a safe place. As you can see, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you're a reoccurring viewer and you haven't subscribed, you should be ashamed of yourself. Go ahead. It's not too late. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. All right. Now, let me pull up this diagram. All right, what you guys are looking at, the diagram of a chromosome, all right? You see the cell, and in the middle is the nucleus. All right, you see the X. It looks like the platform X, formerly known as Twitter, owned by Elon Musk, hint, hint. All right, and you see the DNA, double helix strand there. There's something I want you guys to pay attention to. All right, there's these red endpoints. All right, these red endpoints, they represent telomere. Those are telomeres. I'm putting emphasis on this word. This word is the theme for this whole video. You guys get your dictionaries. I'm going to give you guys the definition of it, but you guys need to look this up, all right? Let me pull this up. Right now, I'm going to give you the definition of what a telomere is. What exactly is a telomere? Oh, yeah, you guys, turn your notification bells on. Every time I drop, you guys will be the first to get notified. All right? Now, here goes the definition of a telomere. Telomeres are protective caps made of DNA and protein found at the ends of chromosomes, similar to the plastic tips on shoelaces. All right? So they're the end caps. You know the end of the shoelaces, that plastic tip on the end of your shoelaces, right? Your Jordans and all that. Similar to the plastic tips on shoelaces, they prevent DNA from fraying or sticking together. They also play a role in cell aging, division, as they shorten with each cell division. Pay attention. All right? Now, telomere length can serve as the biological clock, reflecting the number of times a cell has divided. All right, it's a biological clock. So your clock is ticking. Once that red cap was placed on your chromosome at the end, you was on borrowed time. Shorter telomeres are often associated with increased risk of age-related disease and shorter lifespan. You heard me. All right. Telomeres are maintained by an enzyme called telomerase, which adds DNA sequences to the ends of chromosomes, preventing them from shortening. Telomeres is highly active in germ cells, sperm and egg cells, and stem cells, which are responsible for generating new cells in the body. All right. Now, we got to unpack this. First of all, you guys, you see those red tips, like I said, telomeres. For one, you guys have heard that we were designed, right? The human beings, us as human beings were designed. There's stories of giants, Annunakis, beings from outside of the planet, aliens, right? Hence you have Nephilim. Nephilim, what they were fallen angels, they were considered giants also. Throughout the history of man, North America, there's bones, excavations, they found giants, men that are 18 feet tall, 12 feet tall. They excavate and they find these things, and then they confiscate them and place them in archives, like a place like the Smithsonian Institute, and probably other places that we as the general public don't have access to. But nonetheless, the Bible spoke about this. And a lot of people believe that the Bible is a folk tale, fairy tale, they're myths. No, the Bible is a history book. Every story in the Bible has some type of factuality to it, right? There's some type of truth to that story in the Bible. I'll let you guys go ahead and argue the point. But this type of thing kind of like proves as in that we were manipulated. What I'm alluding to, you guys, is that us as human beings, we are designed by beings outside of our planet. Now, according to certain literature, as I do my research, I see depictions of men being manufactured, right? I seen a picture online of a pyramid, a hieroglyph, right? Where it shows a giant. He's sitting down on the throne. I'm gonna show this somewhere in here, right? Let's take this down for right now. I'm gonna show it. There's a depiction in the pyramids, a hieroglyphic of a giant sitting in his throne, right? In which looks like he's manufacturing a miniature man. So he's standing and in front of him there's a miniature man. There's stories that depict this as an Anunnaki, as a Nephilim, as a fallen angel, right? And this is what gives credence to man was manufactured. I'm going to give you even more details that support this argument. Now, with that being said, we should live 1,000 years. All of a sudden, our lifespan started to shorten. People refer to this as a simulation, right? As in, like, you got to think about all the cataclysms, all the catastrophic events that took place. The Ice Age froze time, catapulted us back to the Stone Age. The Great Flood froze time, reset us, catapulted us back to the Stone Age. Periodically, throughout the timeline of the history of this planet, we've been catapulted, thrusted back into the Stone Age dramatically. It seems like every time in society that we reach our peak of intelligence, technology, we get thrusted back into the Stone Age, and there's a reset that takes place. The Great Flood, once again, city of Atlantis. They said the city of Atlantis was a great city, sophisticated city, technology, et cetera, et cetera. We can't, according to reports, they don't know where it exists. They don't know where it's located on the map, geography-wise, because it's underwater, right? According to them. What I'm trying to bring to you guys' attention is we're constantly being reset. Every time we reach a technology peak, we're getting resetted. When you see the life expectancy of man and the manipulation of DNA, because let's be clear, that is a manipulation in our DNA. I'm going to pull up the DNA chart once more. When you guys are looking at here, these telomeres, did you see the definition of what telomere was? What a telomere does, it's responsible for producing cells, but also limiting the amount of cells that your body, your chromosomes produce. Meaning, every time that your cell splits and creates another cell, that's shortening your life expectancy. The human body can only reproduce so many cells before it starts to deteriorate, before it's no longer able to rejuvenate cells. What they're saying is they place these caps on the end of our chromosomes to stop us from regenerating cells, to limit our cell reproduction. This is what I'm telling you, my good people. This is a direct manipulation of the human chromosome. And there's other depictions of how our DNA is manipulated. And we'll discuss that in other videos. But let's concentrate on this here. So once they place this on the ends of our chromosomes, we're basically on borrowed time. Now, this right here leads one to speculate. We can figure out how to get in the sky. We can figure out how to split an atom, so to speak, right? We learn how to leave the atmosphere. We have all this technology, but for some reason we cannot tackle lifespan and expanding our lifespan. It don't make sense. But I'm here to tell y'all people, it actually does make sense. Let me tell you something. Whenever something that's logical, that's supposed to be a 1 + 1 = 2, and it don't equal 2, it don't make sense and leaves you boggled, it actually does make sense. Things that are logical, that are supposed to make sense, that don't make sense, they actually do make sense. You remember them not Hustle and Flow, but Get Rich or Die Trying? When the man was speaking about the red dude? Yeah, sometimes I'm right, even when I'm wrong, it's like that. Let me repeat this again. When things are supposed to make sense and you apply logic and they still don't make sense and you're left baffled, be not confused. It actually does make sense. The sense is you're being manipulated. The human DNA has been manipulated, and they're giving credit to the Anunnaki. All right? We're supposed to live way long. We're supposed to live upwards to 1,000 years. They're limiting our lifespan. And I want to end this conversation with this. As a man, you don't really grasp life in its entirety. You don't really grow into your age till about the age of 50. Let's be clear. It starts at 45. Once you reach the age of 50, that's when you fully start to understand life. Now, when I'm saying understand life, obviously, you're always going to continue to learn in life. Neurogenesis, your mind is always going to reproduce blood cells so you can learn. You never stop learning to the day that you perish by the grace of Most High. But what I'm alluding to, guys, is at the age of 50 is when you start to grasp life. Now, we're only living now to be 77. So you're telling me we grasp life at 50 and then we only have about 30 years left after we grasp life. It's not logical. It's illogical. That's when the manipulation takes place. People thought about, I've heard conversations which made so much sense to me. In the conversation, they tried to fathom the idea of living past 100 years. Shout out to Jamaican community, because Jamaican community, they live past 100 years. They have the remedy. It's dealing with plants and stuff like that and how you take care of yourself. So your environment, yes, how you take yourself, it plays a major role. And you live into at least 120, 130. But we're talking about upwards. We're trying to get back to 1,000. We want to be up there with nowhere in them, that part. With that being said, there's a gene manipulation that took place. Some would call it divine intervention. Somebody felt it was appropriate to shorten our lifespan. For what? I don't know. But one thing I do know is we have other things on this planet that live longer than 100 years. You got turtles on this planet that live longer than 100 years. We as human beings, we're as old as the turtles. All right? There's a lot of depictions of other animals that live longer than 100 years. If they're able to do it, that means that we're able to do it, right? Imagine if we could live past 100 years. Imagine living past 100 years, what we'd be able to accomplish, how intelligent we would be, how wise we would be in our intent. It's just a concept to think about, you guys. Look it up, telomeres. This is the reason why we're not living upwards to 1,000. We've been manipulated. The divine intervention that they're referring to are the Anunnaki, the Nephilim. In reference to the Annunakis, God said, let us make man in our image. And I'm going to leave off with this. God said, let us make man in our image, not his image. Our means plural. So that would entail that there was more than one person involved in the creation of mankind. With that being said, LOTS approved. This is the most dangerous show on God's green earth. This is the most dangerous platform, LOTS approved media on God's green earth. Make sure you guys don't leave out of here without hitting that like button, and I'm out.